As we continue to rebound from the pandemic, we're taking a look at the question, was 2020 the worst year ever for Colorado Springs? This morning, we're getting a history lesson from the director of the Pioneers Museum, who says no matter what the answer is, our city does have a history of overcoming bad years. Our Patrick Nelson joins us live again with another example. All right, Patrick, we've covered the grasshoppers. What's next?
We did. Earlier this morning, we talked about a time when grasshoppers took over the city. Not good, right? But Colorado Springs would eventually beat the insects. A few decades later, in 1935, it was a devastating flood that almost wiped our city off the map. Take a look. The Memorial Day flood of 1935. It killed several people, hospitalized even more, and destroyed most of the city of Colorado Springs. Historians say a storm settled over an area we know today as the Air Force Academy and dumped a ton of rain, leading to major flooding that overwhelmed the city. Some of these photos show the massive amount of water, destruction, and even people climbing on the top of their houses to survive. Pioneer Museum Director Matt Mayberry says the timing and long-term impact of that flood contributed to one of the worst years in Colorado Springs history.
Ultimately, that wall of water hit downtown Colorado Springs, and it blew out bridges. It destroyed Monument Valley Park, which was there at the time. It killed residents of the community who were caught off guard. And, you know, so it was a catastrophic moment. And you have to remember this catastrophic moment happened in the middle of the Great Depression.
From the 70s.
And there are still areas of Monument Valley Park that were never quite rebuilt the same because of the impact of the Memorial Day flood of 1935. And so whether it was the grasshopper invasion of the late 1800s or rebuilding after a massive flood, the Pioneers Museum has plenty of examples of how Colorado Springs residents overcame shared challenges. The museum tells me it collected photos and items to preserve from 2020, hoping one day we can look back and remember how far we've come. Always watching out for you. Patrick Nelson, News 5.